Hey, Matt Brown here. For this case study, Miguel Hernandez, a sophomore, star quarterback on the team. He was a natural leader, well respected, really hard worker, and very well liked. During a crucial football game, at the very end of the game, on a legal play, he was injured and got hit and became paralyzed from the waist down as a result from it. This occurred in Nottingham High School, which is in Dover, of a school of about 3,200 students. The superintendent's name is Dr. Harvey, and in the school in Nottingham High, some major reconstruction projects took place and put the majority of the building up to code according to state and federal requirements to accommodate individuals with disabilities, but because of the lack of funds, there's still about 25% of the school, of the high school, that is not accommodated for students with disabilities. He met with his school counselor, Miss Guzman, and at their initial meeting told Miguel and his parents that he'd be allowed back in school as soon as the physicians cleared him. They weren't worried about that at all. All accommodations would be met for him. He and his parents informed that he would continue to be in a wheelchair, and the school claimed no other accommodations would be needed for him. On his return, an assembly was held for him. Myself, as the principal, presented him a trophy in front of the assembly. Miguel was informed later that day, after first hour, by the school counselor that he would not be enrolled in the sophomore biology class anymore because the classroom does not have wheelchair accessibility. He would be enrolled in another science class, but it would not qualify as a college prep class. So his mother, Mrs. Hernandez, she is very upset because it is a required class for the college Miguel wants to attend. And so his father, Mr. Hernandez, arrived with an attorney, and the attorney stated that according to Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act 1973, he has a right to a free and appropriate public education. Okay? So the legal and ethical issues of this scenario, just like the attorney said, Section 504 Rehabilitation Act of 1973, this prohibits discrimination against people with disabilities in programs that receive federal financial assistance. Free and appropriate public education states that each qualified person with a disability who is in the school's district's jurisdiction, regardless of the nature or severity of the person's disability. Also, worth noting that it's a violation of Americans with Disabilities Act. All public and private places that are open to the general public, they have to, it's prohibited to discriminate against any individual with any disability. So, what we have right here is we have a student that is being denied access to a class he wants to take because the school did not accommodate in the time he was recovering from his injury or rehabilitating from his injury. Administration assumed everything would be ready for his return, but did not accommodate for one of his important classrooms. It does not have wheelchair access, and the school, again, is in violation of Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973, and now we have an attorney involved. So kind of looking at some of the facts here, Miguel is removed from the class, placed in a different size class. Now, this class would not be counted towards his college prep, but it would give him the credits in order to graduate still. Excuse me. No schedule changes were mentioned in their initial meeting with Miguel and his parents. They made it seem like everything was going to be just fine. And the schedule was not altered until Miguel returned back to school. And the opposing school is not liable for the injury. There's nothing illegal about the hit. It was clean. Review, finding the information that really sticks out. Just the fact that star quarterback, great student, paralyzed from the waist down in a football game, he would remain in a wheelchair. School is violating the law by not accommodating Miguel's classroom with wheelchair access. In fact, we learned that 25% of the high school still is not completely accommodated. His They changed the schedule that Miguel's schedule the day he returned to school, after assuring Miguel and his parents that no accommodations would be needed. And sophomore biology is a class that counts towards college prep, which Miguel wants and his parents want. The class they moved him to allowed him to graduate, but not provide him with college prep. Miguel's parents are upset that they're denying him this class because of his injury. He abstained at a football game. And Mr. Hernandez brought his attorney, Howard Carey, to address the situation, and he addressed that the school is in violation of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973, which again prohibits discrimination against people with disabilities and programs that receive financial assistance. So looking here at some options we have, option one, we could provide him access to the class from another classroom that is accommodated for wheelchairs and participate virtually, or have the teacher move the class to a different room until accommodations can be made in that classroom. And then option two, we continue with the plan, and we just have him be in a different science class, and we give him some more opportunities next year when we're able to go back and hopefully accommodate the remaining parts of the high school. So we will look at the first option first. The cons of it, we may not be able to accommodate Miguel quickly, and he may miss out on even more instruction than he already has. If the classroom cannot be switched, and he's doing it virtually in a different classroom in the school, he could feel isolated doing his work away from all of his classmates. The pros from this, it shows that we are willing to accommodate for him. It holds the school accountable towards the free and appropriate public education and Americans with Disabilities Act. It shows that we're going to give every student in the school the opportunity to succeed. No lawsuits would hopefully not continue in the school, and this would also help cultivate a little bit more of an inclusive culture. Option two, the cons, Miguel is not accommodated and is denied his education. The school will likely be sued, and the school does not honor the free and appropriate public education or anything else that we have discussed. The pros from this, it's an easy fix. We've already kind of figured out the plan. He's already in a room that has wheelchair access. He's still taking a science class, and he'll have more opportunities down the road. Gives the school more time to accommodate the remaining portion of the high school, which again is not something that's cheap. So as we look through here, we're going to evaluate some of the options, and I just believe that option one is the best choice for this situation, not only because it follows the guidelines of free and appropriate public education and the Americans with Disability Act, but it also gives Miguel a chance to succeed, and it provides his college prep class that he and his family want. Gives a school a chance to accommodate the remaining portion of the high school for future instances, because you never know if something like this would ever happen again. The entire school needs to be accommodated anyway, and this also avoids a lawsuit. This option also provides all students with disabilities accommodations throughout the entire school, not just that classroom, but gives us an opportunity to accommodate for all students with disabilities for the entire school, not just parts of it. So as we move forward to implement this plan, first, I'd want to hold a team meeting before we got started with anything. Hold a team meeting with the school counselor, Miguel's teachers, and Dr. Harvey administration, teachers, and just collaborate together, discuss accommodating the classroom Miguel will need to access, and we'll find out what kind of the best situation for the teachers are as well. From then, we develop a plan for allowing Miguel to continue sophomore biology, and I would discuss with his instructor to teach third hour biology in a different classroom, such as a library or a different room that is available that is wheelchair accessible, and at least until accommodations are met, whether that just be a wheelchair ramp or whatever it is that they need for that room to be accommodated. If that is not an option, or a sustainable option, a virtual component of the class can be available when where Miguel attends that one class online until accommodations can be met, hopefully as soon as possible. And then once the plans have been made, I would want to sit down with my team, and I would like to contact Miguel and his parents, request another meeting, and I would like to discuss the plan with them. And then we would have to go back and evaluate Section 504 plan in our school to look at future accommodations in the school to see what other issues we could run into down the road if we're not prepared. And so I feel like this option promotes the current and future success and the well-being of every student in the school. In conclusion, this option not only provides Miguel with a chance to succeed, but it proved all future students, provides all future students with disabilities the opportunity to succeed. And the school team can now develop and maintain a supportive, equitable, and culturally responsive and inclusive school culture where everybody is welcome. And collaborating with all stakeholders promotes the future success of both the students and the adults. And here are my references. All right. Thank you very much.